Back home after a two-game road trip. How's the team been preparing this week for a LAFC matchup?
We understand who's coming in town. One of the best teams in the league, but really looking forward just to get back out there and after a disappointing kind of performance in Portland, just another chance to push this season in a different direction. It's been a good week. A lot of tough conversations and a lot of guys pushing each other and hopefully we see some fruit from that. But we're prepared. We know how talented this group is, and I'm not too concerned with the games that they have on the front and back end. They're built to sustain this stuff, and they're a very deep team. So it'd be interesting to see how they go about it. But we'll expect per usual, a very good LAFC team.
Thanks for that. We'll start with Danny. Go ahead.
Yes, Nigel, how you doing?
Good.
Coach, desde la partida de Dominic a su arribo, usted vino a devolverle esa identidad a este Houston Dynamo. ¿Qué es lo que le genera más confianza en este momento cuando las victorias no llegan de este equipo, cuando usted ya le dio una dirección a este team?
I take a stab at that. You're looking for confidence. Where are we getting our confidence from right now, and what's the direction of the club or the team?
Yes.
Are we at our highest confidence right now? Of not, again, getting that first win. I wouldn't say we're flying in that department, but I think it's a group that still has a lot of belief that we are capable of winning games in this league or getting results, and I think we've shown that. I think we draw on some of the games that we've had where we've played at a very high level. We've also can draw on 2 weeks ago. We had a very good game against Seattle and on the road, and we played Portland away and lost. Okay, you lost an away game in the MLS on turf against a very good full-strength team. So, I think we have to keep a lot of this in perspective.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, one more question. This team have a new leader, Arthur, Lodeiro. What need more? ¿Qué más necesita este equipo?
From a leadership standpoint?
Yeah.
I think this has been a good week. I think we've had some of those conversations, and we use the word personality a lot. And, leadership and personality, I think some of that is, they're different. And, a stereotypical leader or a big captain, that helps. But to me, it's really about personality on the field. And I think we've lacked some of that. And so we've turned the screw on a few guys that maybe have been here a little bit, that's not necessarily their role, or that they don't maybe have that instinctually as much. So we've pushed a few guys to help out, because it's going to be collective. But ultimately, we still got some young guys out there playing, and so we need some of the older guys, the guys that have been around, to step up and perform at the highest level they can. And but again, leadership's not necessarily an issue. It's a group that's collective right now. They're together. We want to get out of this. We want to keep pushing, and this is another opportunity to right the ship.
In the history of this team, the goalie no have problem. The pad, Tally Hall, no problem. But coach, this season is different. The lesson the Tarbell, the lesson the Jimmy Maurer.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Like, it's not. And we didn't design to be playing. We didn't design this season to be playing Blake right now.
Yeah.
But what a great opportunity for him.
Yeah.
And I think overall he's done pretty well. And we anticipate him continuing his form. We will get Jimmy back shortly, and we're also in the market to grab somebody else to compete in the goalkeeper's spot because of the Tarbell situation, who's out for the season. It's not ideal. This is a long season, and you go through periods like this, and we have some resources to fix some of the voids that we have right now, or bring more competition, and we anticipate that happening over the next, every few weeks. Right now, we're going to keep getting players back and have a different look. But in the now, we gotta push. We gotta push this group because that's what we have.
All right, we'll go to Dustin. Go ahead, Dustin.
Hey, man.
Dustin.
Hey, just wanted to ask you about Jack. Glenn, a lot of talk about him coming into this season, him taking over the midfield role that he hasn't been in kind of a lead midfield role. How do you think he is developing this season, what you've seen from him last week with that assist?
Well, I think he'd take, there's some moments, of course, that he would want to take back and, put the group in a bad spot. But overall, I think offensively you can see the quality that he has when we're playing at our best. And so that's the offensive side. And then defensively, being in a double pivot in the center of the park, I think there's a defensive responsibility that he's not necessarily completely used to. And that's something we've talked about, and that's something that in some ways is my responsibility or our staff's responsibility to get him better, right? And he's a young player, so he has this magical left foot, and he has set pieces, and he can see a pass, and he's just wonderfully gifted technically. But for him to progress and be a really effective player here in the MLS and wherever he wants to go next, we got to get him better, and he's got to push himself and understand some of those areas. But I've loved working with him. He's a great kid, and if you're asking, is it too much too early for him? No, I think he can handle this. But he's got to, as most young players in bigger positions and bigger responsibilities, they're going to go through some ups and downs, and we got to make sure we're giving him the right information, supporting him, and making him better each week.
Thanks, man.
Herman, go ahead.
Hey, Ben. Just want to ask you, you mentioned long season, best approach is to break everything down into bits, and focusing on the start of the game, the first 15 minutes, how crucial it is for your team to not concede, start the game right, and then what are your other keys to this game tomorrow to secure the victory at home?
Well, the two games we didn't, foul up a play or two in the first 15 minutes or 10 minutes, we got results. So I think you're right in. I don't think you're a genius in pointing it out, but I think you're right in pointing out that our starts have not been up to snuff, and it's been very frustrating. It's been frustrating for the group, and when that happens, over and over and over, of course you talk about it and you speak about it ad nauseum, and I think you sometimes you get in danger of that, and then you're so concerned with that, you forget to do some of the basic stuff, and you are a little bit on eggshells. So that's it's just a balance. We've identified why. It's happened in different ways. The mentality out of the locker room seems a good one. Everybody's engaged and wants to turn this thing out. So it's not a lack of focus. So different ways. But you're right in that we've got to solve that, because it's just no way to get results.
Thank you, Ben. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
All right, Diego, go ahead.
Good morning, Ben. I just have a question more specifically of your thoughts on Griffin Dorsey. In previous matchups between the Dynamo and LAFC, we've seen Dorsey have a lot of success with his matchup with Denny Bouanga. Is there anything that you're specifically telling him, or you're observing in order to get him ready for tomorrow's game?
Just You're going to need to play another great game against a great player. They don't have necessarily recipes for Danny Bwanga. He's as special as they come in this league, and but it's not always about 1v1 or okay, you have to shut this player down. Soccer doesn't work that way in particular with players that are special. It is a collective, and I think in the past we've done a good job of getting help to Griffin or any defender that's in isolations. And Martinez is a similar player at this point. I think from his jump from last year to this year has been a big one on where he plays not false nine or he's playing wide as well. So they've got weapons where you got to move your feet. You got to make sure you're actively defending, and they can't get ahead of steam. But you also need help. You also can't do this alone. So we talk about those things, and then it's still not easy.
Thank you. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
All right, Jesus, go ahead.
Hey, good man.
Jesus, how are you?
Following up on good man. Thank you for asking. Following up on that Dorsey question, I thought was my question is: have you guys thought about maybe moving Dorsey up, playing up top, knowing that there is no speed right now on this team, and knowing that he came into this team first as a winger? Has that thought crossed your mind, perhaps?
Well, Griffin's essentially, when we have the ball, he's essentially a winger. So he's pretty high. And, we like his ability to get behind and service. So, no, I think he's in a comfortable spot. And he is one of our, as you said, it's not the fastest group. So we have to do things differently. And there's ways to still have success without speed. And it's usually with the ball and making good decisions and bringing a lot of numbers to the ball. But speed helps. And speed, you've pointed out, and we understand that. Again, none of this is surprise. We think about this a lot more than you, Jesus, believe it or not. I don't think that we're not playing Griffin as the 9 right now or any place higher. Again, because we feel like he is pretty high. If we're doing things the right way, he's able to get into the box and get into the attack.
It's such to helpful, but how helpful are these bumps the team is taking, the players playing more that perhaps they may not get later on in the season, full team is fit. How much are these early bumps going to help the team later on in the season?
It's a great point. And again, I cringe at saying long season, guys. As much as again, I've been guilty of saying it. Like, it gets old, right? It's a long season till it isn't. And so we have to. When I say that, there's a real urgency right now with the team and the staff and the club. Right? We feel this. Right? We feel the urgency, but sometimes it's also helpful to step back and look at this in a longer term. So that's the balance we live in this moment, because nobody, and in particular fans, and that gets old. Be patient, be patient, be patient, and the losses, pile up. So your question before what was your question?
How helpful are these early bumps?
Yeah.
For the team, but also some players that
Yeah. So when you do get a group in, and when we look on that lens of what's going to come in when the 4, 5, 6 new players come in. That tension alone helps the team. That's going to push Amin Bassi and Kowalczyk and Griff and some of these guys that have been starting all the time. But you're right. Now Femi's got some games under his belt. Right? Even Blake's got some games under his belt. Junior's gotten some minutes, and so everybody's getting minutes in this. Eric Duenas has gotten some minutes. So these guys now become part of the equation when you're playing in May and you got a game every 3 days and you need somebody. Yeah, these games will help in those moments. Have we relied on some of those players that I mentioned too much already? Yeah, we've had to. But you're right in pointing out that will that should, in my, my history is, it has helped going forward that these guys are getting minutes. And hopefully, Jesus, hopefully one of them says, you know what, this is my spot. No, I'm playing well enough where this new guy you're bringing in, coach, he's going to sit on the bench. So that's all healthy stuff, and those are good, tough decisions I'd love to have.